Oh hey! Welcome back to my channel. If you've been here before, welcome. If you're new, I am extremely pleased to have you. Today we are going to talk about my most hated time of year. Autumn winter. Yay! But this is not going to be a negative video. I'm not going to be a complete Debbie Downer. The point of this video is to attempt to make this time of year a more positive experience for me, but also you if you also despise these seasons. If you get a little bit anxious in the build up to autumn winter, even thinking about it makes you a little bit nervous, a little bit anxious about it, then this video and this new series of mine might be a good place for you. Just before we fully get into it, little trigger warning, I will be talking about mental health during this video, so if hearing someone talk about these topics will affect you in any way, feel free to just click out of this video now. I know I'm not alone in my mood being affected by the change of seasons from summer to the autumn winter. My hope is that if you are like me and get affected by this change of season, then this video and this little series that I'm going to create can act as a little companion so that you feel less alone going through it, because sometimes it can be a lot. I really would like to try and thrive this winter. Not something that usually happens to me, and making this series is genuinely the only way I can think of to try and attempt to thrive this autumn winter. I am a summer girly at heart. I'm a summer girly pop. As soon as I see the sun coming through my blinds, as soon as I feel the sun on my face, as soon as I can feel that heat in the air, my thriving time is about to commence. I love absolutely everything about the summer. Yes, even sweating, okay? Because I know I hate the winter so much, I welcome all that summer has to offer. I love it. As soon as I can feel the temperature drop, and as soon as I can feel precipitation in the air, I panic. I panic, I panic, I panic, I panic. I get very anxious at the prospect of what's to come. I start to overthink everything I'm about to experience, and sometimes I send myself into a bit of a spiral. A little bit of background on my mental health and my mental health journey so far, so you know all of my credentials. I have had depression in the past. I have talked about it previously on my TikTok ages ago. I need to talk about it more. It was a big period of my life. Anyone that's ever experienced depression will know how heavy those emotions are and how much day-to-day life is a struggle, and I feel like as someone who has suffered with mental health, it's important to keep talking about it for those people that aren't comfortable enough to open up yet. So I'm gonna make it my mission to just keep talking about it. That was about 3 years ago for me now, so it's been a while, but it also hasn't been that long. It's still very fresh in my mind, and I can still, if I really think about it, like I can put myself back in that situation very vividly. You know, I remember those emotions and how I was feeling very clearly. Another thing about me, and this is the first time I'm ever sharing this one on the internet, but my therapist and I and just about everyone around me for the last 2 years now has been like 99.9999999% sure that I have ADHD. There's a number of reasons why I haven't talked about it online yet. One of the main reasons is because for me at the present moment, I haven't taken the option to go and get it formally diagnosed by a psychiatrist, by a doctor. This is for a number of reasons related to my mental health past, my previous encounters with psychiatrists and mental health doctors, and going to get other diagnoses, diseases. I unfortunately had quite a negative previous experience with all of that, so I just decided that currently I can't put myself through that again. I just thought it was important to start this off sharing where I've come from personally with my mental health, because I know what it feels like to experience all these heavy emotions. I know how debilitating it can be to have these things going on in your brain, and I truly know how they can affect your day-to-day life. And I promise this all relates back to the change of seasons. Now obviously I'm not a doctor, I'm not a mental health practitioner, so I will share with you a little excerpt. How do you say that word? Excerpt. A little section directly from the Mind website. Mind is a mental health charity organisation about seasonal affective disorder / generally being affected by the change of seasons. Don't mind me and my iPad without a case on it. I can't find one I like, okay? Please don't at me about that. But anyway, it's common to be affected by changing seasons and weather, or to have times of year when you feel more or less comfortable. For example, you might find that your mood or energy levels drop when it gets colder or warmer, or notice changes in your sleeping or eating patterns. But if your feelings are interfering with your everyday life, it could be a sign that you have depression. And if they keep coming back at the same time of year, doctors might call this seasonal affective disorder, SAD, SAD, for short, or seasonal depression. Seasonal affective disorder is a type of depression that you experience during particular seasons or times of year. Depression is a low mood that lasts for a long time and affects your everyday life. If you have seasonal affective disorder, you'll experience depression during some seasons in particular, or because of certain types of weather or temperature. You can experience it in winter or summer. I will leave links in the description to various websites if you want to do some further reading on seasonal affective disorder. But one thing I want to say about it, it's real, okay? It is real. I feel like it's one of those mental health conditions that sometimes is made a bit of a joke out of, like, oh, how can you be that affected by the weather? I promise you, it is real, and you're not making it up. I know, because I 100% am affected by the seasons. Because I've had depression, I wouldn't necessarily say I experience the exact same emotions as I did then. So I don't know if I can completely count myself as someone that gets seasonally depressed, because I think that's really, really serious. However, I know the seasons affect me. I can feel myself dipping into low mood. I know what it feels like to start going on that downward spiral, and how it can affect your day-to-day life. One thing for me that's major is it affects my motivation levels. It plummets me to an all-time low level of motivation. This year, I want to make the autumn winter as painless as possible. So if you are like me and you find this part of the year really, really hard, then I invite you to join me on this little journey. Now, I don't think it's going to be plain sailing, but I do think we can try and make it a little bit easier for ourselves. Maybe changing our mindset a little bit, maybe putting some things in place before the real nitty gritty of the winter sets in. I'm gonna try and romanticize as much of this part of the year as I possibly can between now and my birthday, which is at the beginning of March. Now, I think my birthday is technically still winter, which is very rude, but I count it as spring, okay? It's spring to me. So between now and my birthday, the 6th of March, everyone put that in your calendars, very important day, we are gonna try and romanticize as much of this as possible so that we can thrive this winter, because I know we can. This video is number 1 of this series. It's gonna be about us getting all our grievances about this period of time out in the open, and then we are gonna draw little lines off all these grievances of how we can spin these into a positive experience for ourselves, or how we can combat these so that they're not as debilitating as they seem when we first start to overthink about the winter. I don't know if any of you used to watch Victorious, and I don't think this was ever part of the TV show, or whether I was just chronically online, as I am right now, but there used to be a series, I don't know if it was on YouTube, I'm gonna have to find these clips. It was Liz Gillies as Jade doing these clips for like a web series or something. And I think it was called Stuff I Hate, along that lines of like things I hate, and she would just list off a bunch of stuff she hated.
Okay, this is like, I don't know, episode 27 or whatever of me talking about stuff that I hate. This isn't like a show, so don't go thinking, oh, it's like a show, right? No. These are segments, I guess, which I've appropriately named What I Hate. Look, I made a sign. See that? We clear on the theme here? Fantastic.
This is gonna be a little bit like that, and then off of all those points, we can figure out how we're gonna do the combating, how we're gonna make it better for ourselves. I wrote down my list on the iPad. There's not that many things, just the things that are there, they're quite big for me, so they really affect me, you know. Point number 1, probably the biggest point for me, the one that affects me the most, and I'm gonna be classically British here, the weather. Me and cold weather are not friends. In fact, we might be like mortal enemies. I don't think at any point in my life I have enjoyed cold weather. Also rain. I know it rains all the time here anyway, but I just feel like you pair the coldness with like damp. Oh, I hate it. Here are some of the reasons why I hate it so much, because I don't just hate cold weather. There are actual fundamental reasons as to why I have a vendetta against cold weather. One of these is a medical condition. Yay! I have really bad circulation. Now, I didn't know I had that until I was maybe, I'm gonna put a guess, at 16. My toes would go purple a lot, and my mum was like, that's not normal. So we went to the doctor. I got tested for all the things like thyroid, whether I was anemic, you know, all the things you need to be tested for. Essentially, they came back and said, you don't have any of these things. You just have poor circulation. A lot of young girls get this during puberty and everything, and you'll probably age out of it. I'm now 23, and I can tell you, I've not aged out of it. I still have terrible circulation. My toes still go purple. My hands, right now, freezing. So to that doctor that told me I'd age out of it, lie. We think I have Raynaud's. Raynaud's is a condition where your blood stops flowing properly, so your fingers and your toes. Sometimes other areas. My nan has it. I definitely have it as well. And if anyone suffers from poor circulation, you will know what I mean when I say that winter is a painful time for me. And I don't just mean that metaphorically, I literally mean that physically. It's painful. I can't even explain to you the pain I get. Like, I try and explain it to my mum, and I'm like, I can't even put it into words, the type of pain I'm experiencing in my toes and in my fingers when that bad circulation sets in when it's really cold. It's ridiculous. It hurts so much. It's like pins and needles, but it's like not pins and needles. It's a different sensation than that for me. And it's awful. It's genuinely awful. And if you experience that, I am so sorry. I know exactly how you feel, and it is, oh, it's one of the things I get most anxious about in the build up to winter, because it's inevitable. I know it's gonna happen. And the worst thing about it is you can't really do a lot about it. No matter how many pairs of socks I wear, no matter how many times I wear gloves, it's gonna get me. It's always gonna get me. Woo! It also means I have to be quite strategic about what I'm wearing a lot of the time, because I need to be wrapped up. I mean, even when I do put layers on, usually that doesn't really help me out that much, but at least I'm trying, you know? And that is one of my other grievances about about the cold weather, is the outfits. I haven't fallen in love with autumn fashion. I love the summer. I love putting on my little maxi skirts and being like, oh my god, look at me. I should be in Greece right now. I should be in Mamma Mia right now. I think because of how painful the winter gets for me, I just haven't let myself fall in love with trying to put together really cute autumnal outfits. And that leads me into how we're gonna combat the cold weather this winter. I am going to purchase new thermals. I'm going to purchase new tights. I'm going to get all my winter clothes out of storage immediately, so I can kind of visualize what I'm working with right now, whether or not I may need to treat myself to some new items, mainly to make myself feel better about it, but also so that I can put together some actual cute outfits that still keep me warm, so that I don't hate going outside, because I don't always want to go out the house looking a bit slobbish during winter, and I feel like sometimes that's what ends up happening, because I just don't get excited about it. So I'm like, I don't want to put the motivational energy or effort into looking nice, because I'm like, well, I just need to be warm. But I feel like you can be warm, like functional and warm and cute. One of the videos of this series will be an entire dedicated planning winter outfits video, so stay tuned for that one. I'm not going to be shy about wearing gloves, hats and scarves early, because I need them probably quicker than most people during the winter. Honestly, the last few days I've stepped out of the house and thought, I could use a pair of gloves already, and it's October, and so in my head I'm like, I shouldn't need gloves yet, like I can't be wearing gloves yet. You know what? Yes, I can. If it makes me feel more comfortable going outside, yes, I can wear gloves right now. If people think I'm weird, who cares? If it makes me comfortable. That's how I need to change my mindset about that one. One purchase we made for me a few years ago that I can attest to being one of the best things we've ever bought: a heated blanket on my bed. When those winter nights are crisp and you are feeling the cold and all you want to do is just snuggle up in your bed, but because of the cold, your bed sheets are not feeling so nice to get in, oh my goodness, you need a heated blanket or a heated sheet or whatever we're gonna call it. I just switch it on before I'm gonna get into bed, and then when I get in there, oh, it's all toasty, it's so good. Mine is from Silent Night. I'm sure there's others that are out there, but that's the one I have. I love it. So I'm gonna put that on the bed. My winter duvet has got to go on. I'm gonna get all my nice blankets out. We can just feel so cozy. We gotta feel all cozy. And that is my list of ways I feel like I'm gonna attempt to combat the lovely, delightful, cold British weather. Woo! Next on my list of things I hate about the autumn winter season, the dark short days. They're so sad to me. They're so sad. Waking up to darkness just doesn't sit right with me. I really don't like that. I generally tend to sleep with my blinds almost open, especially in the summer. I like kind of just being woken up by the sun and all of its goodness. But you just don't really get that, do you, in the winter? It's not the same vibe. And I find then it really hard to get out of bed because I sit there and I just stare at the window and I'm like, well, I might as well just stay in here. It's warm in here. Why would I want to get out? And then that just derails my entire day. I am so unproductive if I don't have a good start to the day. And it being dark outside, not a good start to my day. So in the winter, I find myself lacking enthusiasm, as I said earlier, lacking motivation, lacking a lot really. And I don't want to be lacking this year. In the year of 2024, I want to be fulfilled. I do not want to be lacking. So here's how I plan on combating these dark mornings. I know these were doing the rounds last year on TikTok and I didn't buy one, idiot. But I'm gonna this year. One of those sunrise alarm clocks. Having that light source just waking me up in the morning, kind of that mirroring the sunshine that I love so much in the summer. I reckon that's going to help me out. Now, I don't know for sure because I haven't tried it, but this is what this series is about. Trial and error. We're going to attempt things. All we can do is try and help ourselves. You don't know until you try. And I really do want to try one of these to see if it will work for me. Because if it does, that's a big win for my mornings. The second thing is really establish myself a good morning routine. I've got my night routine down. It is solid, it's beautiful, it's one of my favourite things about my life, honestly. 8 PM hates to see me coming. I just feel like my morning routine isn't as exquisite as my night routine. It's not as well honed in and not as well loved. I haven't taken the time to nurture it in the way I should be. And I know for ADHDers, routines are really, really good for you. My brain is generally thinking about stuff 24/7. I find it very difficult to switch off and relax, and routines help with this. My big thing was before I went to bed, I could not stop thinking. It was just one thing to the next to the next. My brain was just like meh, 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 meh. It was driving me crazy. And then my therapist was like, hey, girly pop, we need some routines. It's gonna help you. And I was like, no, I don't need a routine. I live life spontaneously. Like, what do you mean I don't need routines? Oh, boy, was I wrong. And not even a little wrong. A lot wrong. Establishing my night routine, probably one of the best things I've done for myself because I can actually sleep at night now, which is fantastic. Woohoo! As I said, my morning routine, not so great. And I think in the winter, I'm really going to need it to be strong and powerful for me to actually get out of bed in the morning. So we need to work on her. She needs some TLC. And then me and my morning routines are going to come for the dark mornings. The dark mornings will fear us. If you have a good morning routine or there's stuff you like to do in your mornings that just make you feel a little bit better about getting up, please let me know what they are, and then maybe I'll add them to mine and we can do all of these things in the morning together. How cute is that? We could twin with our morning routines. And last on my list of things I hate about the winter, I've kind of done these in order from like the one I feel the strongest about to the one that's not as bad, but it's still something that I don't really like about the winter time. And this one's maybe a little bit controversial, and I hate to even say it, Christmas Day. Christmas Day and that period of time, like Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, Boxing Day, and then that weird week between Christmas Day and New Year's. Don't like it. And it's not like Christmas I hate. I love like the build up to Christmas. I love all like, oh my god, we get to put up decorations. We get to go and see all the lights and all that stuff. I love that. That actually is one thing that's going to help us combat this hatred of Christmas, to be fair. Just the day itself, and as I said, those kind of the extra days around Christmas. Even like thinking about it makes me a bit sad and a bit anxious. I know people get like this about birthdays. You know when people get really sad on their birthday and stuff? It's kind of how I feel about Christmas. I find the day generally a little bit boring. Usually like my mum's cooking and we kind of sit around doing nothing, and I know other people really enjoy the doing nothing. I don't enjoy the doing nothing. I would love to play card games and love to play board games, and I want to do quizzes and stuff like that, but I practically have to beg people to do those with me, and then it doesn't become that fun. So I don't really enjoy Christmas Day. I usually end up crying at some point because I just find the whole day makes me a bit anxious. I get really sad. I get all like up in my feels about it, and that's just the honest truth. Preempting that day, like thinking about it now, I'm thinking, oh my god, like last year I was really sad on Christmas Day, and we don't even have a particularly big family, yet tensions run high. You know when you have those like family gatherings and there's always like that one person in your family that asks you all the questions that you don't want to answer or whatever? We don't really have that because there's only usually 5 of us on Christmas, yet still I feel like tensions are high. It's one of those days, isn't it, Christmas, where, I don't know, like everyone wants the meal to be right and everything has to be, and it just gets a bit stressful for me. It's all too much for little Lando Norris. Little Lando Norris being me. And so yeah, it gets me really anxious, and then I get really sad. I don't want to be sad on Christmas, I really don't, because I do, as I said, I like all the build-up, I like all the fun bits about Christmas, and that is how I've decided we're going to combat this Christmas Day fiasco. I am just going to spend the build-up to Christmas doing all the Christmassy stuff that I want to do, that I love doing. Baking the cookies, making a gingerbread house, going for my mum and I's annual Christmas light walk around London, helping my best friend's mum put her tree up, because I'm not allowed to do that. Going to Christmas markets. I feel like if I do all the Christmassy stuff I want to do in the build up to Christmas and change the mindset around Christmas Day to be more relaxed, I just feel like I need to spend the day a little bit more chilled, which is difficult to do because I don't think anyone's ever described me as chilled, but we're going to try this year. I've also decided another way I'm going to combat this on Christmas Day: buy myself a puzzle, because a puzzle is something you can do solo. If I want to play a board game, I can't really do that unless I have another person that's willingly wanting to play it with me, and I don't want to force anyone into doing it, do you know what I mean? But a puzzle, I can do a puzzle by myself. I can puzzle all day long. I haven't done a flipping puzzle probably since I was, I'm gonna say below the age of 13. But something like that to keep me occupied so that I don't find the whole day boring and sad. That's how we're combating the Christmas saddies. No Christmas saddies for me. I want to know actually if you have any Christmas traditions you do. If you've got any fun ones, maybe they're a little bit unique to your family or that you do with your friends. Maybe I'll adopt them for myself. And then I just wrote myself a kind of like miscellaneous section of other things that I could do to make this period of time a little bit more fun. Give myself some activities to do so I'm not just sitting around my house thinking, I hate it here. And these are things like taking myself on a little solo date to a museum. For some reason that feels very autumnal. I don't know why, but it does. It just does. I am gonna start a soup making series. Oh yeah, I started this last year and I loved doing it every week. It was just a little piece of enjoyment for myself. At the start of the week I would make myself a soup and it would last me like the lunches for the week, and then the next week I'd make a new soup and I genuinely loved it. It was so much fun. So I've decided I'm going to turn that into a whole series, like a mini video every week of me making my soup and just chatting with you guys. We are gonna be Pinterest mood boarding our autumn winter. I want everyone to log on to that glorious app and start collating images for your autumn winter 2024 mood board to just give a general feeling of what you want your autumn winter to be like this year. I feel like it's a good way to really set the tone. The winter is a really fun time to try some new hot meals. In the summer, I love making a salad. I love a salad bowl. But in the winter, there's nothing more scrumptious than a delicious warm meal at the end of the day. I find cooking really therapeutic. It's something I do a lot anyway, but I am gonna be trying a bunch of new recipes this winter. We could try seasonal drinks from coffee shops. I feel like that's fun. That's a fun thing to look forward to for autumn winter. I actually think some of them might be out already, like the autumny ones, and then maybe they do more for winter. So I need to get myself to some coffee shops to get trying these beverages with you guys. I want to start Gilmore Girls. I haven't even started my annual watch of Gilmore Girls yet, but I want to start Gilmore Girls again. I want to do a Harry Potter movie marathon at some point. I want to do a Hunger Games movie marathon at some point. I feel like those two, for some reason, just feel like autumn winter to me. I'm gonna host a Halloween themed girls night where we watch some Halloweeny movies, have some popcorn, and I want to go on some really good walks that aren't around where I live. Like maybe I'll take myself into London for the day and just explore a neighbourhood I've never been to, wrapped up in my coat, experiencing the seasons and actually embracing them and reminding myself it's not that bad. We can get through it. If you've related to anything I've said in this video, then I encourage you to maybe make your own list of stuff you want to do this autumn. Get making that Pinterest board, write down a bunch of activities you could do, whether they're solo or with friends or with family, to just get you a bit more excited about existing in the autumn winter. Because honestly, I'm not gonna lie, just making this list to share with you in this video started to make me excited about doing these things, and I was thinking, oh, this is perfect. This is the purpose. This was the point and purpose of this video, was to make me feel better about the seasons. And I made the list, and I am feeling better. As I have said, this will be a series. My plan right now is the second video in this series will be prepping for the autumn winter, buying the thermals, making our autumn playlist, doing our Pinterest board, those kinds of things, so that we feel prepared for these seasons to hit us. We are in autumn right now, so like this wasn't very preempted, but I feel like it's not too cold at the moment where I'm starting to do the panicking, you know, so I feel like we still have time. So the second video will be prepping. There will be a soup video somewhere in there. First soup of the autumn winter. Yeah, everyone get excited, everyone get, I'm so excited. And put your guesses as to what soup will be the first soup I'm gonna make this year. Think about what kind of time of year it is right now. Woo! It's so silly, but honestly I think it's the little things that are gonna make us feel better about this. Well, I know they make me feel better about it. The more trivial, the better, in my opinion. Because the more little things you can get excited about, the more it stacks up, and then it becomes a really big thing, you know? I'm really excited about this series. I think it's because I think it's actually going to help me, and if it can help one other person as well feel less alone during this time of the year, then perfect. Then I've done my job. We can hype each other up through this period of time. I've got you, and I know you've got me. I'm about to start singing S Club 7. I've got you and you got me, so reach up for the stars. Stars or sky? Reach up for... Climb every mountain higher. Anyways, I hope something in this video was maybe relatable for you, or made you feel less alone, maybe made you think about the autumn winter in a slightly more fun way. We're gonna thrive this winter, guys. We are. We're gonna thrive. I will see you in the next one. Love you, bye.